Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another installment of the Building Savages podcast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Background is different today. I told
Look
you
at that
guys
shit.
last week I was going to work on it
Official. They're not in alignment, which is actually
slightly.
most of they're slightly off alignment, but I do enjoy how fucking professional this shit looks right now.
Hell yeah. You know what it
Uh,
is? Is that my logo just ended up so small compared to the one that we made. So that shit
Yeah.
is like
Yeah,
huge.
it's fucking well, yeah. No, I mean it's fucking huge. That was like we honestly like when I did it, I just did it on Canva or whatever, or I just mixed it up. But I mean, it worked well. They lined up perfectly, and we both did a fucking little circle. So cut that bitch in half
Yeah.
together. But it's whatever, bro. But it looks fucking great.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
Soon I have like I'll upgrade the posters to like something else, but trying
yeah.
something different.
Okay. Yeah.
Getting better with this brand and stuff, man.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. I don't as you can tell, my background looks the same. I live in a studio fucking apartment. I have no angles to fucking mess with, no walls to mess with, unless you want to see my bed in the background, which would be kind of fun. So as soon as I get a bigger apartment, we're gonna be talking about all this shit. Books on the shelves and like specific books and then like all this shit. But right now you're gonna have to deal with this.
Yeah, man, you got to show off your book collection. You got to talk about your book collection one
Bro,
day because
bro,
you read a
fucking
lot.
yeah. Oh man, I have a huge book collection. I used to fucking hate reading too, man. And then like I became an adult. I was like, you know what? Let me start reading books, and I fucking love it now.
You know what? I think you probably hated reading because they forced books upon you that you had no interest in.
Well, that especially, and like I was never like a really good reader. Like when I was
Mm.
younger, I had very bad reading comprehension, and it could be because I didn't like have interest in the books, which probably would happen. But like it was just like one of those things where like I was bad at it, so I hated it. Instead of like reading because I wanted to read, I was again being forced to read, and then I hated doing it. But yeah, now it's like, bro, like the one book that got me into reading was called like Rise of Superman. And it's about like it's a really dope book. I would recommend it to anybody. It's
Is that a
about like
comic?
no, it's like it's not about Superman at all. So it's a Rise of Superman, not Superman, my bad. So
Got it,
it's
got it.
about yeah, it's about the flow state and how action sport athletes like deep divers, skateboarders, snowboarders, all these different athletes like use that to do miraculous and crazy fucking things. And they talk about the science of how the flow state happens, how it started, how athletes use it. And it was like the one of the first stories is like this dude like Danny Way, like back in the day, like in the I forget when, but he did like one of the first like Red Bull shows. He jumped over the Great Wall of China. Well, what you don't know is that Danny Way broke his leg like attempting to do it before the actual show. Like his
Oh
first
shit.
try, just to try it, he broke his leg, but he's like, no, I'm fucking doing it. So, like, and to jump over the Great Wall of China, to take you taking the loop and whatever like that, and it's a shit ton of G forces to go down. It's like almost like the same amount of G forces that you'll ride in a roller coaster. Like he had to do that, so it's a lot of weight bearing on your ankle. So the show came. He fucking ripped it, jumped over, and landed, and he did it like two or three more times. And just like that, mentality and like how he happened to do it just like blew my mind, and that got me into reading. That book kind of turned me on into like, oh shit, like I can learn this stuff and actually enjoy doing it. And then that became like more like the self-help. That became more like the business stuff. Like I actually hate reading like fitness stuff. It actually bores me. Like
Same actually.
I hate it because like it's just science jargon and nobody's really like communicating in a way that I enjoy. Like that's why I like watching videos about fitness. But like if I'm
Yeah.
reading about something else, like it's can't have to do anything about fitness. Nothing.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I actually don't read any fitness book
Yeah.
type shit.
Yeah.
It's either
I mean,
videos, like any type of hands-on thing, or just experience, really.
yeah, experience hands-on videos. Like I'll read a couple like blogs and stuff like that. Blogs are a little easier to read because obviously they're shorter and like they're written in a way that a lot of times like they're just talking. And I enjoy that more because like it's just like I want to have a conversation with a coach. A lot of these times I'm never gonna have a conversation with these people. So it's
True.
kind of good to kind of talk with that or talk to people about that.
I used to read T Nation a lot
T Nation was
when
good.
I was younger.
Um yeah, Elite Fits is another good one. It has a lot of blogs. What is it? Something about speed, some speed thing. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of blogs that you can read. And I'm not saying don't read fucking if you're in a strength coach, like you should be
For
reading.
sure.
your strength stuff. But like again, a lot of it's experience asking questions. But we also like need to see things visually. Like it's a biomechanic sport. Like you just can't like fucking read something and expect to apply it. And that's where it gets boring. It's like, how can I apply this? I have no idea because I'm reading something that's just telling me. It's not showing me. And plus, I don't want pictures in my fucking books. When am I fucking 5? Out here.
Yeah, we got a very hands-on field, man.
Yeah.
All
Um.
right, Ev. So you have a fun topic for us to talk about
Yeah.
today. We're going back to our training topics today.
Yeah. I feel like it's been a long time coming. We just been talking about business and just betterment. But I think this is still a betterment kind of topic. But I feel like it would be good to give the people some things or like missing links that they can add into their lifestyle or their programs or their nutritions now that can help them almost immediately. Like just literally just do it today and like it'll help you out tomorrow.
For
Those kind of
sure.
things. So I mean it can be again programmatically, fitness wise, nutrition, and it can be the small things. I don't think we need to talk about like doing X, Y, and Z programs or like doing sets of 5 or whatever like
Yeah.
that. Just think about anything you want to talk, anything you think about. Let's talk about it, and let's see if we
Okay.
can. But if it's a bust too, or if it's a boom, or if we both agree on it, if it's a thing, you know what I mean? Think it'll be a fun one.
Speaking of Bust and Boom, make sure you watch episode 4.
There you go. There you go. That's another job. Look at this guy with his segues. A fucking background, a segue, a mic. I don't know. Next time he's gonna have like a fucking makeup crew like before.
Could you
Like that.
imagine?
Yeah, 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 yeah. The
In our
video quality
pre-production meeting, I'm getting makeup done.
pre-production meeting. It's like, Evan, this is bullshit. Like, like over here, like boss shit. I love it. I love it.
But
Uh,
me and Evan are definitely big on quality over quantity type of stuff. So with that being said, I'll go straight into fitness thing that I think is very important for me is your warm up.
mhm,
And I think your warm up is one of the most crucial things that you can do to set the tone for a great workout.
yeah.
So before even get into the workout, it's very important as we said many a times on the podcast before, is like set your intention of what you want to do for this workout. If you have a very aerobic based workout, then you probably want to start with some type of aerobic based warm up.
Mm,
If you have a very strength focused workout, then you probably want to create a workout. I'm sorry, not a workout. You want to create a warm up that's going to prep the body for whatever your main strength focus is going to be for the day. So if I'm doing something that's shoulder heavy, then I should probably have a pretty shoulder focused warm up that's going to allow range of motion to increase, that's going to get some muscle activation in my shoulders because now I'm prepping this area for what we call the trainability to pretty much set myself up to perform at a higher level than I would if I didn't prep my body correctly.
mm. Okay.
I know Evan's really good with, I remember remember when COVID happened, you created that home workout.
Yeah.
You had like a really dope bird dog superset where you play with like three
Yeah.
different bird dog variations,
Oh,
and
don't forget about that one. Yeah, that's a good one.
that shit was dope. You had like a whole PDF that you sent out, the whole
Yeah.
nine, and the workouts were really based around like full body stuff that people can do to stay active
Mm.
during quarantine. With I don't even think there was any equipment in this workout if I remember.
No, I
So
try my best not to do that because I felt like a lot of people just didn't have that shit at home.
yeah, of course. And what I liked was being that he knew what he was focusing on was a full body strength workout, he created warm ups that was all literally body weight, but that took you through various ranges of motion. And that was going to fire up literally damn near every part of your body
Mm.
to get you ready for work.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's a as of now, I've been a little lazy with my warm-ups just because I don't have a shit ton of time, but I think people need to realize it doesn't need to be a long fucking workout
It
warm up.
doesn't.
It like if you take any more than 10 minutes to work out, and that's like the long ends. Or warm up, sorry. Take any more than 10 minutes to warm up, you're taking too long. It's like one of those things where like you don't have to sit on a fucking foam roller for fucking 24 hours.
Seriously.
So I really have dropped down my warm up from like the 8 minute mark to like the 5 minute mark because like knowing me is like I make sure I have everything set. I like to check make sure like my hips are functioning correctly. I don't have any like new things that I didn't know because I didn't move. Want to make sure my glutes are firing the right way. My hamstrings are warmed up. I want to make sure that my shoulder range of motion is fine, especially like if I'm doing upper body stuff and I have bad shoulders. So, like things that I know that are issue. I want to make sure that that's handled and taken care of early instead of like worrying about that when I'm under the bar. But I do a lot of like warm up sets like with whatever I'm doing. So if
Yeah.
I'm deadlifting, like I'm doing like 5 warm up sets, 5, 6 warm up sets, like just to make sure things are like in order. And then what I'll do while I'm doing that warm up set is maybe I'll warm up more. I mean,
Mm.
so like necessarily you don't need to be in the corner of your gym and like fucking warm up, take 15 minutes, go to the bar and like put 225 on. If you do that, like you're kind of tripping anyway. But like I kind of like to I've started to like warming up during my sets and continue to warm up during my sets. Cause like I feel like you can do all the checks and balances in the beginning now. Like you can do like I the way I kind of like to set it up, I do a mobilization. If I'm squatting, I make sure I work on my hips. If I'm doing upper body, I make sure I work on my thoracic. I'll do an ab or something like that just to make sure that my core is activated for whatever load that I'm gonna
Yeah,
go on.
yeah.
I make sure I do an activation for whatever I'm going to do. So if I'm doing a deadlift, I'll make sure I warm up my hamstrings and my glutes. And then I'll do a power or I'll do another activation. Sometimes I'm not feeling like doing a power movement like a kettlebell swing because I do a shit ton of them. Maybe I'll do if I did a hamstring thing for my for my deadlift, then I'll worry about my glutes next. Something like that. I'll do one set of that and I'll do a whole bunch of warm-up sets and then I'll do maybe like, oh shit, like this right glute right now isn't working. My low back's like still like not warmed up. All right, let's do a couple 90-90s in between warming up and stuff like that. Or let's do like a couple dead bugs to make sure like my core is activated. Like I'll do
Yeah,
that
yeah.
while I'm doing my warm up. Just because I don't want to take so much time to do a fucking warm up. Sometimes it's not super enjoyable, but like I know people enjoy the warm up. So I'm a big believer that people are lacking in that. And I feel like doing the cheetah method of you just like walking into the gym, doing some of like these fucking kindergarten ass stretches and shit like that, like you're just gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah,
Hurt.
my warm ups, a lot of my clients laugh at me. Like my warm ups kind of feel like mini workouts. So I
Mm.
kind of do like
Yeah, you
mini
like to kill
five
it.
to
Yeah. Yeah, you like
I
to kill. You like to be like set the fucking tone, like early
and
and often. Yeah.
that part is very important because in as a coach when now getting like really advanced into like how I operate with stuff too. Like I kind of know like the personalities of a lot of my clientels too. So like I know like this is one girl that I train. I know specifically she needs something that's going to get her heart rate jumping early.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to be like anything explosive. It's like I'm gonna start her on a jump rope and then I'm gonna follow this into kettlebell swings and some squats and
Yeah.
whatever. Or I'll put her on the air bike and I'm like, all right, do 2 miles on the air bike to warm up or something like that, which will take her roughly 5 minutes or something
Mm.
in that case. So it's like even knowing people of like what kind of speed that they are, I kind of adjust their warm up because I know it's like, all right, this is the gear that's gonna get them to kick in. I have
Nice.
another girl who just kind of does like a lot of leg work with me. Um, she's definitely not gonna get fired up from doing aerobic work. So like I'll activate her glutes and her quads and her hamstrings and shit like really early by giving her like some volume work, technique work, and also things that a part of like even what Evan was saying where he's warmed up a lot. A lot of the other part of warming up is like you got to get the nervous system intact.
Hmm.
You know, so you're warming up the patterns that you're going to use for the day, which is why the the set should feel smoother as you go along. If I'm warming up for squats, I need to do the pattern for a couple sets so I know how I need to position my feet,
Yep.
my breathing, getting my body acclimated to the pattern that's happening. So it's not so quick to where you're just gonna jump and put weight on your back, especially as you get stronger.
Hmm.
You know, when you're starting to deal with loads that are a little bit on the heavier side, you got to build up to that shit. You can't just
Yep.
walk in there cold. So
Nope.
it does take a matter of prepping your nervous system. It takes a matter of prepping like your core temperature in your body, getting the muscles that you're going to be using. Start feeling some blood in there and start you should walk out with like a little mini pump. Nothing too crazy, maybe a little minor sweat, something like that that literally you're telling your body I'm ready to work.
Yeah. I like that. I like the pre-fatiguing method. Like I really do enjoy that because I mean it's first of all gonna warm the fuck out of you, but it's also gonna like get your heart rate going.
For
It's also
sure.
gonna like get exactly what you need. I mean, you're just gonna be super warmed up. And that's something that I used to love. I used to do you ever heard of the wedding warm up? The wedding warm up's fucking dope. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
the wedding warm was the 4 sets of 25 in 15 minutes, bro. Burner. Pre-fatigue,
Yeah.
but bro, you were like you go straight into the actual lift, like you feel fucking fantastic. Like maybe a little fatigued, but it's also like a good like pre-fatiguing thing and making sure everything's firing in all cylinders and like you get under the bar, whatever the fuck you guys are gonna do, and like you just feel great though. Like you just feel great. It's early. It's great to get volume early. I'm not a big volume late kind of guy.
You
You know
know
what I mean?
what? When I was powerlifting, I had the opposite mindset.
Mm.
When I was powerlifting, like we were afraid of doing anything that would make us weaker for the set.
Yeah, I was the same way. Yeah.
Dude, so it's like looking at it in retrospect, I'm like, fuck, man, like I could have did things so much differently because it's like you were, oh, this is gonna affect my bench press if my triceps are a little too
Mhm.
pumped up or whatever the case, and it's like, bro, like you're gonna be
Yeah.
fine. It's
Exactly.
literally a quick pump and a heart rate that's just gonna go
Exactly.
away, and then you'll
Exactly.
have everything you need to fire up when it's time to go.
Well, it's not even worried about your heart rate in the pump. I mean, like it just fucking like you'll get used to it. Like I
Yeah.
feel like you'll get conditioned to do it, like do the exact same warm up, and then sooner or later, like that bench that might have felt heavy because your triceps are a little fried will feel even stronger because you're building the resiliency to do that stuff. You know what
And
I'm
you're
saying?
literally not training to failure on your warm
Exactly. You're
up.
not.
You know,
No, no,
like
no, no.
and I think that was the misconception I had at
Mhm.
around that time where I'm just like, dude, it's not till failure. Like you're just getting shit fired up. So
Exactly.
we would take kind of those lackadaisical warm ups. Like you would be so scared to kind of do anything. So it's like I'm gonna take the empty bar, and then I'm gonna add this 25, and then it's just like
Yeah.
so many small
So
little incrementals, and now you're sitting here like you didn't get to your first top set until like 30 minutes into the
you're,
workout.
you're, you're powerlifters, you motherfuckers are in. We're in there for like 2 hours, like
Yeah,
doing
dude.
like only 3 exercises. That was the only thing I didn't like was just like, bro, like 2 or 3 exercise. I can't, like, I'm bored. You know what I mean? Like it's good to be if you're a perfectionist, just like, but
Yeah.
like I'm cool with just like I like to hit everything. I like to make sure things are done, things are checked off, and like everything's good.
Yeah,
But
and the funny part, like I would tell people all the time, I'm like powerlifting workouts actually aren't long. What makes it long is just the setup
yeah,
and the rest periods.
set
But
up
I'm
rest.
like, if you really strip it down, you probably had like 7 minutes of work,
Yeah,
if that. Like
pretty
depending
much.
on
Yeah,
some people
okay.
don't even go past five.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're doing sets at 2 to 3, how long does a 2 or 3 rep set really take you?
Exactly. Exactly. It's always funny like watching like the TikToks and the YouTube in the Instagrams of like powerlifters doing a set, like 1 rep. Whoop, they walk away from the set, they put on their hoodie, and then they like flip out a fucking lawn chair and just sit for 3 minutes. And then they go right back. But I mean, it's not really like that. But yeah, realistically, like the amount of work you're getting in, the amount of time, like, isn't real like you're not really working the whole 2, 3 hours or like 1 hour.
Impossible.
There's no way.
Yeah, there's no way
You need
someone's
the right.
training for
You
two
need the
hours
rest
straight
time. Yeah,
nonstop.
you need the rest time, especially if you're working over like 90%, like constantly. So it makes sense.
Well, you know what? Now that we're actually on that, that's a big part too about improving your fitness is really utilizing the proper rest period.
Ooh, I like this one. Yeah, there. Yep, I
That's
like it.
we ran right into that one. I wasn't even
I
thinking
like that.
about that.
I was
But
not even thinking
utilizing
about
the
that.
proper rest period, like you want to know what you're training for.
Yeah,
So if I'm doing a heavy set, a 2 minute rest period is ideal.
yeah.
3 minutes if you're talking really heavy. That 5 minute, 6 minute thing is not
Too long.
necessary.
Too long.
It's really, really not necessary. The
Yeah,
only way that's necessary if you are just strictly powerlifting and you care nothing else about anything else that have to do with your fitness.
yeah.
But
Not
for
even
the
like
average
yeah.
person lifting,
No,
3 minutes is a long rest period.
very very long
I
rest
would
period.
shoot for more closer to two.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of two, especially like if you're going like anywhere between 80 and 90%. But like
Yeah,
you see motherfuckers in the gym, like they'll do even arms and they'll take 2 3 minutes. Like I,
dude.
it's crazy. Like I like every now and then I like to go to like like a commercial gym. Which by the way, like because like I have like such a small gym and I've been in these different places, it gives me anxiety. I don't get anxious, but like I don't like people near me when I want my space. But I mean that's also because I'm an introvert. But whatever. But you'll see them do arms and like I'll put in 2 sets of work like of a superset. So 4 different exercises before he picks up the bar. A person picks up the barbell again to do 10 curls.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like, what are we doing? So, like, get off your fucking phone. Like, I don't. We don't need you to time your rest. Like, if you want to be that strict, like, but like, pay attention. Like, if you're doing volume stuff, like, you need like 30 to a minute, depending on how
Yep.
fatigued you are or how much you're actually getting to failure. If you're fucking like lifting moderately heavy, like a minute to a minute and a half. That's like realistically like that's like a 6, 7 and a half ish on the RPE scale. You know what I mean? That's all that is.
And
Okay.
10 would be, for people who don't know
Yeah.
RPE, 10 would
Yeah.
be on the higher
Yeah.
spectrum of it. It's literally like how much effort did you
Exactly. Yeah.
take
The way I
yourself to?
explain it is like one's the easiest thing you ever done and 10's the hardest thing you ever done.
Perfect. Yep.
Land somewhere around like a 7. You should honestly be training around a 7 and a 8.
I
Like
just said that shit
constantly.
this morning
Yeah.
to a client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a 7. If you're trading your warm up, so let's actually go back because RPE scale is also a good one that can actually improve your fitness to even get 1 to 5, 1 to 3 is life.
Yeah.
Like that's just life. That's you brushing your fucking teeth. That's you going for a walk. 4 to 5 is a warm up. It's like moderately warming up, just getting your heart rate up. 6, I would still consider 6 kind of a warm up, but getting into a lift.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's like
Like the
working at
incremental phrase
yeah,
almost.
it's like incremental phase of like warming up.
Okay.
7 to 9 is prime time action. It
Yeah.
is prime time lifting. 7 being like on the light side, 9 being on the heavy side. If you stay around an 8 constantly, you're putting enough effort to see
For sure.
results. 100%. 9 is like you're feeling fucking good, but you want to go ahead and push it. 10 once, twice a month. Like it's very hard to stay consistently at 10, but if you have the correct program, you can do it for a whole week and have a meet week or whatever like that. Like that's kind of how I program. Like a 7, 1 week's a 7, 1 week's a 8, 1 week's a 9, 1 week's a 10, kind of like that. Um, but yeah, 10 you're hitting like maxes. That's like you need 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
10 is 10 is when you're doing some shit that you don't do on the regular.
exactly. 10 is like you're about to throw up.
It's like testing. 10 is like testing shit.
Yeah, and
Like
if you
it's like a test. Yeah, it's like max effort type. I want to
yeah,
see where I'm at type of thing like that.
yeah,
But everybody can't take themselves to a 10.
no, and I
That
feel
it takes a certain type of one mindset and a certain type of fitness level to really be able to demand that type of effort out of themselves.
And also, you can't know this. You can't stay at a 10 all the fucking time. So if you are that crazy motherfucker who constantly stays at a 10 and then wonders why they can't sleep or why they always get injured, is because like you shouldn't be at a 10 constantly. Um, like I think understanding these numbers and using these numbers on the daily like will really help you understand what intensity level you guys should be at. Because a lot of times people just work out to work out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Expect the fucking world. But if you work out intensely, you work out intentionally, you're understanding these 7 to 9s. And the reason why I like the RP scale other than percentages is percentages don't account for life.
Yes.
They do not count for life. 70% one day could feel like fucking 50, and other days it feels like fucking 90.
Yeah.
I mean, just because like you probably didn't sleep well, you ate like dog shit, you fucking got drunk the night before. So like using that scale on a daily would be like, hey, like last week this felt like a 7. This week this feels like an 8. Cool, maybe I'll stay here. Or this week this feels like a 7. I want to get to 9. That's like maybe a 10, 15 pound jump. How do I get there? So it gives you kind of a better relationship with the gym and understanding how intensity level works and just kind of going through that. And I think that's very, very important for people to understand, especially people that keep bitching about that going to the gym isn't hard and you're not seeing results.
Yeah. And be truthful with yourself about your
Yes,
RPE
be
too,
very
man.
truthful with that. Yeah, that's the
'Cause
next thing.
some people is like, oh, that was a 5, and then it's like, dude, like that was way more than a 5.
Yeah,
And then you got the other spectrum of it is like, oh man, that was like a 10, and it's like that was a fucking 4.
thank.
So it's like the more you can actually be truthful of your actual RPE, then
Yep.
you can really manipulate your training however you need to manipulate it, because that's a
Yeah.
really, really important key factor. And I was
Yeah.
literally telling somebody this morning too. I was like, I had her come in and do squats because she does a mixture of like coming in person and doing online with me.
Nice.
So I was like, let's do squats together in person. So she was like, we really went up like 30 to 40 more pounds than I was squatting. I was like, yeah, you can handle it. And she was
Yeah,
just like, when I'm by myself, I'm just a little nervous on, like adding more weight and stuff like that. And I was like, the a good intensity for you to push at safely by yourself is like a 7.
yeah,
Like if you could stay at like a 7, and I was like, literally just don't even think about weight. Just think of from a 1 to a 10, how hard did that feel for myself? If it's around a 7, you're okay. You don't have
yeah,
to push for an 8 and a 9. I'm like, we can push for that a little more when you come in, especially if you're someone who's not really like that to train on their
yeah.
own anyway. Like, stay at a 7,
Mm,
6, depending on what we're doing, but try to keep yourself at like a 7, 7.5, and then I'll take some things where you'll have guidance and right in front of you that you can feel safely to take things to an 8 or 9 because I'm watching.
exactly. I think that's a good tip. Is like actually understanding it, being real with it. Because I mean, I feel like as coaches too, you kind of look at. I'm a big. That's the right face. And when like I mean by that's the right face is like you walk by and they're grunting and they're making dumbass faces. Like, yeah, that's the right face. That's the right way for you. And like if you're not making faces, what did that feel like from a scale of 1 to 10? An 8? No, bitch, you didn't have the right face. Go
And
up. You get what I'm
yep.
saying? So, yeah, that's all. That's a good one. Um, let's see. What's another one?
Well, we didn't finish the rest periods too much. We
Oh,
could
we
we could
didn't
finish
finish
that
the
out a
rest
little
period.
bit.
Let's go. Let's go back to the rest periods.
Yeah.
Where were we? I think. Do you want to
So
continue?
yeah, so
Like
so
that.
things that are a little more on the max intensity side, or even like heavier training, we're
Mhm.
gonna be looking at longer rest periods. But like I said, you also don't want to rest too long to the point that like you're losing the training effect.
Yes.
Like you want to keep your heart rate up. You want to keep yourself in tune with your training. And I think one of the worst things that people can do is like look at a rest period as like a break from the workout. It's not a break from the workout, it's a rest from your set. That's a completely different mindset.
Yeah.
So like when someone's taking a break from the workout and they're going on their phone and they're scrolling on IG or they're going through their text messages and doing other shit like that, you're losing the focus of your training, and you're hindering your progress that way.
Yeah.
Like you really want to be in tune with your however long your duration of your training is, which is not long into the grand scheme of what your day is. Like allow yourself to just be present in your training so you can get the most out of it.
Yeah.
And what I see a lot of people is like they'll do their sets and they just kind of like disappear, and then like they're not really in tune with their training, and it's just like we can be getting so much more effort out of this if you literally just put more effort into staying present with your training.
Yeah. They use it. I mean, what happens is I think people use the gym as a distraction. I mean, they'll do a set,
Yeah,
they'll go talk because they're social. They want to make it the social thing, which it is. You know what I mean? Like you want to have a good community when you're going in there, but you
for
also
sure.
want a community that wants you to fucking work. So if you're talking to this person for like more than 3 minutes at a time and nobody says, hold on, let me get a set in and come back, what are we really doing? I feel like that's not the right community for you because you want the person to push you. You don't want the person just to fucking hang out. So like there's a lack of intention, there's a lack of knowledge of what's going on. I mean, also like on top of rest periods, you shouldn't really be in the gym any longer than an hour and a half. Like I feel like that's the long ends. Like I
Yeah,
realistically I'm in and out like in an hour. Like I like that hour period. Like it makes sure that I'm on schedule with not only work, but like with the rest periods and everything like that. But like I also feel like after an hour, like I start hitting a downward spiral. So like once you hit the downward spiral, or like if you still have energy after an hour, you didn't work out like well in that hour. So just take that into consideration. You shouldn't be
probably
spending
be
that long.
lactodiesel.
Yeah, you're just I mean, you're just being a fucking dumbass. You're just wasting your time. I'm sorry.
And like
Sure.
conditioning work is a big one too. Especially us. Like when
Yeah.
we're trying to program things that's specifically for like conditioning, work
Yeah.
capacity, or more on the aerobic side, our
Yeah.
rest periods are super fucking important. If you
Super
don't
important.
if you go past the rest period that's set, literally all of the training effect that we're trying to to train for just
Yeah.
went right
Gone.
out the window.
Gone. Yeah, it's super important. Like I feel like if you don't have a stopwatch while you're doing certain things, or you're not looking at the time, especially when you have conditioning going on, you're doing something wrong. especially
Yeah,
like sprint work. Sprint work is super fucking important to have the right rest period. Because like, let's say you're on the short end and you want to go sprint 50 yards and you take 30-second rest, like you're not going to be able to be efficient to sprint again.
of course not.
I mean, so like you're actually gonna need a little bit of a longer rest period from like your 10-second sprint or whatever like that. I'm a big fan of like going like almost like a 5-to-1. Like if I take 10 seconds to sprint and giving myself 50 to like maybe even 60 seconds to rest. Okay, sometimes even on the hard end, I'm fucking a minute and a half, depending on how hard I run. Like I won't go any past a minute and a half,
For
depending
sure.
how fatigued I am or how like if I worked out after. Like it's the same thing. So you're making sure that you're getting everything in order. It's the same thing when you're fucking doing like long conditioning circuits at fucking X, Y, and Z. Like you should be taking rest periods when you guys are doing conditioning, just a little bit depending. But I mean, they're super long. Like you're fucking and you're not out of breath. Like you're not really. Are you conditioning?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
Sprinting is not cardio, by the way. It's power
yes,
training.
difference. That's why
It is
all
power
fucking
training.
marathon runners are like this, skinny, and all fucking sprinters like have huge ass legs, bro. It's
Yeah,
a muscle
I try to
building
tell my
activity.
clients. I try to tell my clients that I'm telling them like stop viewing sprinting as cardio because it's
Mhm.
not cardio. It's
Not
going to
cardio.
work your anaerobic power system, and that's going to it's one of the most, if not the most aggressive thing that you can do body weight on your
Oh,
body.
100%. 100.
Extremely explosive, it's extremely demanding,
Yeah,
and you have to be strong to be able to generate enough force to really take yourself into a max sprint.
yeah. So stop
So
playing sprints. And if you're sprinting, like know the difference between you sprinting and you running.
yeah,
It's like jogging, running, and then sprinting. Like
yes.
like jogging, you're at a fucking marathon pace. Running, you're running a little bit faster than marathon pace.
Mhm.
Sprinting, like you should only be able to do in short bursts. Like honestly, like if you sprint any more than 100 meters, you're not sprinting. Yeah, because
Yeah,
after that period of top end speed, like you're slowing down, now you're running.
yeah,
I mean, so understand the difference. Like your sprints is all out effort. It's always a 10 out of 10. It's not a 9 out of 10. I mean, warm up to a 10.
for sure.
Do that. But like just know when you're sprinting, you're at 100% every time.
Yeah,
At
if your
least.
jogging is the same speed as you're sprinting,
Yeah.
then
Yeah, those are
just
different
know
things.
that that's not a sprint.
Those are different things. Another one that I wanted to talk about. I want to talk body wise and then like just overall health wise. Another
Okay.
one I think people lack at, and we talked about it before. Because this whole conversation came from like him talking about lateral work with his girlfriend on Instagram, is doing lateral work, working on
Okay.
your groin and working on stuff like that. You'll be surprised how many people don't know how to correctly do a lateral lunge or really think that the lateral lunge is for glute growth when it's more for adductor strength and lateral movement strength.
Good
Uh,
glute exercise though.
it is a good glute exercise, but I don't treat it like that. I
Yeah,
treat it
I don't
as
put it as
like
my bang for buck for glute
yeah,
strength
it's
or
not a
glute
bang for
movement.
buck
Yeah,
glute exercise. It's a
it's a good accessory.
miraculous, yeah, mobility, and a lengthening of the groin and overall health of your adductors and your hip flexors. Doing that, like it doesn't have to be lateral lunges. We can also talk about crossover drills, like
Mhm.
doing things that aren't so much in the sagittal plane. Yeah,
Yeah,
like that was over here. More like we're in the gym, there's a lot of sagittal movements or like forward and backwards where you're rowing, you're pushing, you're squatting up and down, you're hinging forward and backwards. So there's a lot of forward movement things, but our bodies naturally go left, right, turn around, spin around, upside down. So like exposing, I guess not only lateral work, but exposing yourself to different ranges of motion and different planes of motion is very important, like rotation work. Rotation work is very important because a lot of people, especially that are in our age, are golfing now and stuff like that. And everybody has a low back issue because they're not used to fucking swinging at 100% with their rotation. So working on anti-rotation, working on power, like the things that you don't think about, like especially if you're a bodybuilding kind of person, like those things need to be attributed to your program for overall health. And that right there is like a super easy thing where you could do like med ball throws, kettlebell swings, lateral lunges, um, pal off presses,
single leg jumping,
single
leg
leg
exercise.
jumping, single leg movements in general.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, like all the kind of things that you don't think about because you're either you're either having a base, like a simple program that you got off bodybuilding.com, or like you're a bodybuilder in general. Just think about yourself as a human and as an athlete. Like what do you think would happen, and how can you prevent injuries by doing this in a safe space? It's kind of why everybody needs a coach. But I think finding little holes in your program is super important, like especially like the lateral work and anti-rotation work. I think is super important because those are the things that cause a lot of issues. Like a lot of people have groin issues because they stepped the wrong way. I mean, laterally or whatever. They decided to play pickleball and they broke their fucking Achilles, or they fucking strained their hamstring or strained their groin. Or like people, I have a whole bunch of golfers who like, my low back always hurts because you're fucking, first off, you didn't warm up before you fucking swang at 100%, but also because like you're not used to not rotating or rotating in a powerful, forceful direction or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So missing links in your program that you can start adding are some of those.
And this is why strength training gets such a bad rep, where people like, oh, you lift heavy, you're gonna be tight or immobile, or you're gonna hurt yourself. And like that only happens if your program is favoring too far on one end.
Yeah.
And I think that's how a lot of people approach their strength training. Like I hear it all the time, deadlifts are bad for your back. Well, if you're compromising your form and you're deadlifting with loads that you shouldn't be deadlifting with on a regular basis,
Mm-hmm.
of course you're gonna run into that. Like you're literally asking for it at that point.
Yes, sir.
But if I'm throwing deadlift into the mix with a well-rounded plan, it's like I'm doing deadlifts, I'm doing swings, I can balance on one leg, I do lateral movement, I can do a single leg deadlift, I can do a
Mm-hmm.
one arm deadlift, like
Tiger stance works too.
stagger stance
Love
work.
stagger stance. Yeah.
That's something you've put me on to that, and I've been playing with that a lot more in my
Love
training,
it.
especially with the fighters because of the positions that they're in a lot.
Exactly. I love
Um,
it.
so that's been working out really well, and I think and it goes back to something I said earlier on, like stop marrying movement so much. Well,
Mm-hmm.
exercises, I should say. We
Yeah.
want to marry movements because at the end of the day, there's so many ways that you can manipulate a movement to work different areas of your body that's not going to get emphasized as much if we continue to stick to just one way. And then that also plays into our ego because the way that we stick to is typically the way that we're strongest in.
Yep.
So if we're not playing around in areas that we're not the strongest in because aesthetically it's like, oh, I'm not moving as much weight, or oh man, I hate that exercise because it's difficult, I'm not good at it or whatever like that. It's like then you should probably add it into your programming because it's gonna help whatever you're good at the end of the day. And
100%.
this is stuff that I wish I knew earlier in my training, where it's just like playing into the things that aren't my strength.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember I got good at lateral movement because when I was in my internship, they had me do a lateral lunge and it was the worst thing I couldn't believe I couldn't do a lateral lunge. It was an
Crazy.
exercise I just didn't even feel like was necessary at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to do it, I was like, no fucking way, dude. Like I couldn't even sit down. And a lot of people, what I noticed too with lateral lunges, they think that like they're not sitting into it like you would on a parallel squat. And I'm like, you want to get low on your lateral lunge like
Yes.
that. Just
Mm-hmm.
stepping to the side doesn't make it a lateral lunge. You just step to the side. You didn't really drop into your hips at all.
Yep.
Get that hip down, align with the knee like you would on a regular squat. Get that full range of motion. Allow that opposite leg to be fully extended so we can get a your adductor and your groin really lengthened so we can pull ourselves back to center, like little things like that. And just from working like laterally and rotationally, things like that, I've noticed a huge difference in how my body has felt.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of things that I was working against when I was younger, like now it's just feeling better for me, and I still feel strong.
Yep.
Like I'm doing things today that I wasn't doing on my years of powerlifting heavy, but I've exposed myself to different ranges of motion in different planes of motion, which increase my mobility.
Yeah. I think
And
that word right there, expose yourself to different places. Well, it
yeah.
sounds weird. Don't really do that. Like the way I'm saying it, don't expose yourself to different movements.
For
And I think
sure.
it's very important because like you never know when you're gonna need to do these things. You never know when you're gonna be like, I haven't done anything all these years, but I'm gonna start picking up kickball. You go pick up kickball, you go get hurt because you haven't exposed yourself to these different movements in a place that's a little bit more safe, which is the gym or with a coach or whatever like that. So
And that's
yeah,
the funny, and I like that you said that because these areas are safer, like
yeah,
in that case. And a lot of people think because they have this big, strong squat, now they'll be able to jump through the roof or they can sprint, they can fight, they can do all these other things. And it's like, no, that doesn't correlate. Like these things can help if you're already doing these other patterns.
yeah.
But if these other patterns don't exist,
Mm-hmm.
then all you're doing is just getting stronger at
And
this lift.
yeah,
It's
you
not
don't.
translating to anything because you don't do anything else.
Yeah, you don't get faster by not running.
Yes,
You don't jump higher by not fucking jumping. Like you have to do the fucking things, get the movements right, understand how your body mechanics work to do those things. Because
yes.
like you'll be surprised, like you're talking about, like you couldn't do a lateral lunge. Like every time I teach a lateral lunge, it is such a foreign concept to people sometimes. Like it's just like, all right, now step to the side, sit your butt back, okay, and then sit as low as you can. Like three very simple cues that in my head and your head make complete sense to us,
Yeah,
that people have no idea what the fuck is going on. I should be speaking Swahili. I don't fucking like, some people don't understand it and their bodies don't fucking adjust to it. So like actually understanding how to do it correctly is huge, because like I think like just a normal move, just a simple movement pattern can throw people off,
for
and
sure.
that's important. um, yeah, I think that's that, exposing yourselves not to people in different places, but exposing yourself to different movements. Just don't expose yourself. I don't want any dicks out. Um,
Yeah, don't
yeah,
say the Builder Savages podcast. Told you to
yeah,
get
yeah.
mad.
Don't say that we said to
We're gonna
expose
flag this
yourself.
episode.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, bro, why you walking in the gym naked, bro? You gotta expose yourself, and you're gonna get strong and healthy. Fuck up. Anyway, the next thing for body wise, I think people need to be barefoot more. I think that's
Okay.
the thing that's like super lacking in people, because like they are in shoes all day, and I think this is the base of your fucking, it's the base of everything. If your ankles are fucked up, your feet are intertwined, you have bunions and all that stuff, and you can't move properly, I think that's also a thing that you can fix immediately by like walking barefoot more. And a lot of the injuries that you have from your ankle, your knee, your hip come from the misalignment or the lack of strength and a lack of support that you have with your feet. Like I'm a big like walking barefoot kind of person. Like I just bought Vivos or whatever the fuck they're called. These things. Yeah.
What brand is that?
It's a Vivo. It's a
Oh
barefoot.
yeah, yeah, I got shoes from them. I
Yeah.
actually want to get that exact shoe.
Yeah, I should have went with a black one because I'm not gonna match orange all the time, but whatever. But yeah, like I just wore them today and I was like, oh shit, like I feel the fucking ground. I'm moving around. Like it's very helpful. And I think that's something that people are lacking, especially unfortunately women who work in the business world and have to wear heels all the time, and they're
Oh
fucking
yeah, their feet are brutal.
elevated. You get me? Their ankles, they're constantly balancing on their stuff, on their ankle. I mean, they're constantly balancing on heels and all that shit. So
Yeah.
like exposing yourself, Jesus Christ, I gotta stop using that word. Um, but
We're
just
just gonna name that the episode.
yeah,
Expose
expose
yourself.
yourself. That's it. Expose yourself. Episode 13. Whatever the fuck episode this is. But yeah, just being barefoot more, and you will realize like how uncoordinated people are like without their shoes on, and like how foreign the concept is. But jumping, walking, crawling, and all this stuff, getting familiar with the ground. And I'm not saying grounding. You ever heard like that term grounding, where like people like step on the ground like dirt and
Yeah,
like do
yeah.
all this? Yeah, I don't need you to do that stuff. Just fucking walk barefoot every now and then.
Now, question: how do you feel about running barefoot?
I think it's a step up. I think that's very hard. I think that's very like fucking hard for people to do that's just been running with like cushion and stuff like that. I think it's cool. And I think it's something that you can work up to, but I think right now walking will be beneficial more than anything. You don't need to run barefoot. It'll be cool though.
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't think I've gotten to that point for like I like it for lifting purposes and just
I
like
love
for
it for the
life
paper.
purposes. I
Yeah.
only really wear shoes like if I'm out. But like
Same.
even in the gym, we typically just walk around in socks to be honest. And I've noticed a big difference in my foot health because I used to get a lot of feet pain.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
feet pain. Like to the point to it would be like tender for my feet to touch the floor.
Yeah. And it
And
happens more
after
often than
like
not to
those
people.
long days, forget about it.
Yeah, yeah, it's fucking crazy. So like Nike, I mean, fuck it, I love Nikes. I wear nothing but
I do
Nikes.
too.
But like Like Nikes aren't great for your fucking feet because of the toe
Mhm.
box. You got fucking all these different crazy ass name brands aren't the greatest unless they have a big open toe box. And that's
Yeah.
like super important for you guys to realize like if your toes are like this, you're asking your toes should be able to move like your fucking fingers. It's the
Yeah.
same shit. We're monkeys. But like our toes are like this, like constantly like beat up and close together, like they're not separated. You can't move them individually. Like that's a problem that can lead to all these different things like kinetically and
Yeah.
biomechanically that function really fucking weird. So yeah, just exposure, just god damn it. Take your motherfucking shoes off. Take your motherfucking shoes off.
Explode your feet.
Expose your feet. Everybody gonna be walking barefoot now. Fucking back in the caveman era. But yeah, I mean you can also buy like those Vivos. There's a whole bunch of new. It's an old concept, but it's also very new that people are buying all this stuff that actually have open toe boxes. They don't have
Mhm.
any lifts up or they don't have any cushion. They're barefoot shoes. Like I would recommend buying those, and then you'll see the wonders of like what your foot can fucking do in your overall foot health. I think it's very
You could
important.
literally even start at home just walking barefoot more too.
That's it. I mean, it's very
Like
simple.
if you're always in shoes, it's gonna be a very hard transition to just go like no shoes right away. Like
Yeah,
you're gonna have to go through periods of adapting your feet to this.
yeah,
Like I had to do it because at first like it actually did hurt my feet to like do a lot of stuff barefoot. So like I would just kind of start by kind of like standing there, taking a couple steps.
hmm
Then I got into like single leg balancing on my foot. I got really tight ankles, but my ankles have improved since that. I will
yeah,
say,
yeah,
my foot health has improved. I get foot pain every now and then, depends on like what really goes on in the day,
hmm
but it's remarkable difference from before.
yeah,
I'll definitely say that. And a lot of people don't know, which you brought up a good point. A lot of people don't know that your toes are supposed to move like your fingers.
hmm
Like they're supposed to be able to spread. You should be able to individually move each toe, especially the big toe. Like
yeah,
your big toe is like the equivalent of your thumb for your foot.
yep,
And like sometimes I'll even just like ask clients, I'm like, hey, can you move your feet individually? And then you'll see everything like shifting to the
yeah,
side
yeah,
and
yeah.
shit
It's like
like
it's like
that.
it's like the guy from Scary Movie. This is my strong hand. It's
Yeah, it's
all
my
fucked
strong
up and
foot.
knuckled up and shit. Yeah, yeah.
But
It's just
that plays into, like you said, with the kinetic chain, like the joint by joint theory. So if your foot is off, that can play into your ankles not doing the job they're supposed to, your knees not, or your knees taking too much stress, your hips being out of whack. So like it really does start from the ground up.
exactly. So yeah, I think that's super important. And I think that's something that you can. I mean, you can literally try that today. Something you can
Yeah.
just do today. Another thing I think I'm big on. I mean, we're all big on sleep. We're all fitness fucking enthusiasts. So I'm big on buying a couple things to help you out. Blue light glasses, blackout curtains, and a weighted blanket.
I heard about the weighted blanket recently.
Weighted blankets are
Yeah.
fucking dope. I actually like stopped using it for a little bit, and my sleep has gotten like it's not bad, but like it's I can tell the difference. And just
Wow.
like kind of just like it's like I sleep by myself. I'm single. So like somebody's holding me the whole night. Like, but it's dope. It helps put me to sleep and it settles me down. I don't know why. I don't know the exact science behind it, but it just like it kind of decompresses you, if that makes
Yeah.
more a little bit more sense. Weighted blankets are cool. Blackout curtains, making sure there's no light in your fucking in your room or in your especially in your room. You shouldn't have like your phone or a TV in your room also,
I
but
was
that's
gonna bring that part up too, like the electronics.
yeah, no electronics in your room. Now
Black it
you
out.
like yeah, just block all that stuff out and sleep in pitch black. If you're scared of the dark, grow the fuck up. I don't know what to tell you. And, what was the other thing? Oh, blue light glasses.
Blue light
I
glasses.
sometimes suck at that sometimes of wearing my blue light glasses. I don't really know if it's a oh shit, if it's a boom or a bust just yet because I can't correlate my sleep with it. But I can tell you it does kind of help. Um, but not significantly enough to be like, oh shit, this is a difference maker. It might be for some other people, so that's why I'm bringing it up. Especially like if you're looking at the fucking screen all day. But I put it on like 2 hours before I go to sleep, and then go straight to sleep with it. or
I'm
take
gonna
it.
revisit that one because I'm getting some blue light glasses soon, like within the next month.
Yeah, I'm gonna retry to stay consistent with it and see how my sleep pattern goes. But that's something that you can just buy today on Amazon for like $20 and see if it works for you. Um, and but like the blackout curtains and the weighted vest, like I live by those. Like I think those are super important. Um, but yeah, those are important to me.
Since you're on that vein, I have something that's not training related, but more like lifestyle related. I think it's important to have a nighttime routine and a morning routine.
Yes, I love this one. I think I had that in the back of my head, and I didn't bring this one up, but I agree with you.
That
Yeah,
that one has been a game changer for me. Because you talked about like the blackout curtains and like the blanket and like shutting off all the electronics. That kind of can even fall into a nighttime routine, and even kind of like correlating it to like what we talked about with warm ups. It's no different from and even like having a warm up, you should cool yourself down in a workout too. And it's no different than just like your day.
hmm
So I have a series of things that I try to do to let my body know like, hey, we're taking it down.
yeah,
Like I have a hard cutoff at like 9:30. I do nothing work related. No matter what it is, like do it in the morning or set yourself up to make sure you can do it in the morning. So 9:30 is like my cutoff limit to where at least give yourself an hour before you go to sleep to where you can just fully disconnect.
yeah,
Because I had an issue of like I would work, go to sleep, then wake up and work, and I never really felt like I had a moment where I disconnected from it. It's like you're
hmm
going to sleep with work on your mind, and you're waking up with work on your mind,
yeah.
and I
I
and
love
I
that.
think that was a very unhealthy pattern that I was starting to run into.
hmm
So having a nighttime routine of these series of things that take probably like 15 minutes or 30 minutes to like start getting my body to like we're going to rest and relax, we're going to decompress, we're going to reflect, and then we're going to ease ourselves into sleep. And now when I wake up, I also have a series of things that I do to prep my body for the day.
Yeah,
And that for me has been an absolute game changer. Stress, it helps you manage stress a lot better, especially for like the morning routine, because I feel like a lot of people they just kind of like rush out of bed and then it starts their morning off hectic.
yeah,
Where like a good solid morning routine prepares you for the day, not only in a sense of like waking yourself up, but like your alertness, you're ahead of schedule so you don't really feel like you're rushing all over the place, and now you have like that irritable feeling because like
mhm,
you're just chasing to get the day started opposed to just like I have the time to allow myself to warm up into what I need to.
I
And
love
for me, that's actually helped my nighttime routine more because it's like now that I know I have this morning routine of getting my day started, I'm prioritizing getting to sleep better.
I love
So
that.
I feel like with a lot of people, it's like, well, they're just kind of falling asleep and then they're just waking up and they're not prepping for each of them.
hmm
So they're sleeping late and they're waking up. If they do wake up late, maybe they're rushing to wake up because they want to get a little bit of that extra sleep in, opposed to where it's like if I create the system where I'm getting good rest, now I can create the system to where like I can wake up peacefully too.
Yeah, I like that. Um, so I'm bigger on the nighttime than I'm on the daytime. I still have a daytime, like a morning routine. My morning routine is I wake up and I read, and it kind of like sets like the tone of like the rest of the
Yeah.
day. I don't have like a very long morning routine, but I do have a night routine, and the night routine, like I could say, is fucking like chef's kiss. Like literally sets the tone for like your body to prepare to go to sleep instead of like watching TV, and like TV's gonna keep you up anyway for that stuff. Um, and I think what people need to realize is that like you don't need to have like we're saying routine, but it can be one thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be like six or seven things. Like I do a couple things because like it feels better to me. Like I do my to-do list for the next day that night, so I don't have to worry about it in the morning.
I
I
like that.
do I read like 10 pages or like 15 minutes. Sometimes it's even like quicker. Or actually like I reflect a little bit before that. So to do reflect, and I don't spend too much time reflecting. Um like I spent like 5 minutes reflecting. I'll read a little bit, and if I start falling asleep when I read, I'll just go straight to bed. But if I read and I'm like, I still have a little bit more energy, I'll meditate, and then I'll go to sleep. And the meditating is like a new thing, and I'm still fucking not great at it. And I feel like nobody's really good at it. But it's one of those things where I'm challenging myself to kind of do that every day. And then that sets me up to go to sleep. And then in the morning, I just fucking read. Because if I go to work, like I'm just gonna drink my coffee at work. I'm not gonna drink my coffee here and go to
Yeah,
work. But it's also like I wake up early enough, like you said, like I don't have to rush out of here. I don't have to like shit. I have to
yep.
fucking brush my teeth now or whatever, get the dog. So all that stuff. So yeah, I feel like the night routine. I will agree with you more about the night routine, but having the morning routine is doesn't have to be super long. Just something to kind of warm me up. I used to like wake up and do 5 push-ups and kind of just like alert my
Yeah,
nervous system that would be up. But that fucking this Amazon alarm, I need to get like a better fucking alarm because that bitch wakes me up and I get so mad every time.
yeah.
Like now it's like I fucked up because now it's like it does it twice now. So I'll set up the alarm and it'll beep and it'll be like, oh, wake up, whatever, like that. And after I tell that bitch to shut up, she's like, the weather is, and she tells me the weather, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, I don't know how to shut it off, like at all. So like I'm just been dealing with it with a year and it just pisses me off every now. So like now I have to get another fucking system to go because I'm already pissed when I wake up, but the night routine helps out a lot.
Yeah, routines are important, man. They
Really
really
important.
they provide structure. Yeah,
Yeah,
we've talked about
100%.
structure here plenty of times.
Yeah. Let's see. Another one. I think another quick one that you can kind of do right now if you guys don't do it now is like having a vegetable and a fruit at every single meal. I feel
Oh
like
yeah.
we don't have enough. I mean, people get anybody that tells you that you can't have a fruit or fruits are bad for you because they're too much sugar is a fucking idiot. And I swear to God, like I hate those people. But having a fruit and vegetables every single meal, regardless of what you have, like if you have a burger, like and you have like frozen fucking, I do it too sometimes when like I just want a burger or whatever like that. I'll have some frozen fucking like broccoli and I'll just eat like a couple of them. But just keeping that fucking that mentality that I need to make sure that I'm staying on the right ritual and having the correct things, having the vitamins and minerals that I need. 'Cause it's a simple thing that you can kind of do just right now. Um, Another one would be, I'm a big fan of having a protein shake. I know you're not the biggest fan, but
I've
like
been doing them lately, actually.
I've been okay.
Yeah, yeah, I have been.
I just enjoy it because it just help. Like I don't eat enough throughout the day.
Yeah, that's
Like
why I
I
started
think I
doing
do.
it.
Yeah, I think I know I don't, and this is something that I kind of do ritualistically when I every month I recheck my nutrition, and like I found out for the last month I haven't been eating enough because I've been tracking. I was like, holy shit, I can eat more, and it always feels good. But I was not. I was always having enough protein, which is good, and I just don't eat enough protein. So if it is anything like a real quick habit, if you don't do it, I have 2 protein shakes a day, regardless if I train or not, just to make sure that I have the body weight, the at least like 0.7 to zero point 0.1 grams per body weight every day
The last thing I'll hit us with is learn how to breathe.
as I'm breathing loudly.
Breathing, yeah. Learn how to properly breathe. The knowing what type of breath tempo depending on what level of exercise you're doing. Like if I'm doing a jogging or something more on a lower intensity aerobic, I should know the breathing rhythm to keep up with that. When
Mm-hmm.
I'm just in everyday life, having a breathing rhythm that just allows my body to feel comfortable. If I'm doing something explosively and heavy, knowing the breathing pattern to match that. And also just knowing how to breathe to relax yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Breathing is like the most vital thing for the body, but one of the most butchered or unforgotten things to really focus on. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people just aren't educated in proper breathing. Like your breathing literally lets your body know what level of stress it's at. And it sounds very like yoga-ish, but that's why they even say in yoga, like focus on your breath, bring awareness to your breath, because now one, this is making you in tune with yourself, and two, even in the most high stress environments, if you can regulate your breathing during it, you're telling your body like it's okay. You're
Right.
telling yourself that you're fine. You're
Mm-hmm.
breathing, if you're huffing and puffing and like hyperventilating, your body is getting signals like we're in a very high stressful environment right now. It's fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
But even in moments of high stress, if I can just get myself to do a nice breathing tempo of like 5 seconds inhale, 5 seconds exhale, I'm getting myself to relax, and now I can handle a situation a lot better because I'm not overly stressing about it. I'm allowing myself to do it with a sound mind opposed of a very stressed mind.
Yeah,
So I think like really getting in tune with the different ways of breath and how it affects the body can really start to affect you on a day to day of how you maneuver.
I like that. I haven't even thought about that. I'm not big. I mean, you kind of like take that for granted because I mean,
You
we breathe
do.
every day or you fucking die. It's pretty much. So like, I think it's like one of those things where you don't think about, but it does have an instrumental, um, like factor into your life if you actually are like breathing it correctly. I mean, put you in different fucking moods, like you just said. So I think it's very
Yeah.
important.
Take
I
you in
think
that
something.
flow state like you talked about earlier. Learning how to properly breathe through your nose so you're not just becoming a mouth breather, which can actually affect your postural issues moving forward. It can affect your teeth.
Mm,
All of these things moving forward. Bringing awareness to your breath, and it's something that I want to continue to practice a little bit more.
nice.
But even like when I assess clients for the first time coming in, the very first thing is I'll lay them on the floor and have them focus on breathing, and then I move that into bracing. But a lot of people, especially ones that are newer to exercise, they all come in a little anxious. So
Fair.
once I get them breathing and I get them to do like a slow breathing, I bring in the awareness to their breath, and I'm also bringing like them in tune with their body, and that always sets the tone for the workout a lot better because now they feel comfortable opposed to me just jumping in and just giving them something aggressive from the start like that's too much.
I like that. Yeah, I need to start
Game
researching a
changer.
little bit more about that. There's have you read it's one of the Gracies, I think. He had a book called Breathe.
Okay.
That's he talks about that, and one of the guys that I do jujitsu with, like he read the book, and I think there's like exercises that you do like fast breaths, fast breaths, and then you breathe in thing and taking all the CO2 out and like breathing in the oxygen clears out the CO2, breathing something about that centers you a little bit better.
Of
I'm
course.
not I might be butchering this completely, but um so that would be a good book if you want to focus on breathing. I'll send it to you when we're done here.
Yeah,
But
that's a
but
good one.
that's a good one.
It literally refreshes the body. I might be butchering the name of this one, but a very popular um style of breathing is I think it's like Windhoff breathing or something like that. I gotta send that to you. It's super legit shit. Something that I was looking at for a little while, and I started adapting a lot of that. It's like a certain technique of breathing that gets the body to literally just like refresh itself and like calm you at like the deepest state that you can pretty much possibly think of.
Okay,
And breathing and bringing awareness to your breath really brings in that mind muscle connection and that intuitiveness with your body, which is super important for
yeah,
anyone who wants to have a healthy and sound mind and body.
nice. I love that. How about we finish it off with each five quick hitting things that you can do now. Like quick hitting, like it can be anything, like fucking five things. So it's off the top of your head, like
Okay.
rapid fire shit.
I'm gonna go prioritize protein. I'm
Okay,
gonna go I'm gonna just bite off of the one I just said. Bring awareness to your breath and learn how to control your breathing. I want to go with daily activity in some form every
mm,
day.
nice.
Um, Learn how to manage your stress.
Mhm,
And I'm gonna put a slash next to that. Manage your stress and be better with time management.
nice. I'm gonna go get some sun, like
I
at
like
least
that.
like 10, yeah, vitamin D, at least 10 minutes. Walk daily,
Yeah.
and walk daily without having any feedback, just to kind of like reset into nature and like fucking kind of decompress. Um, I would also, and this might be a little controversial, I would also set up a massage or like a sports massage or something like that once a month because you never know like
I love that.
anything. That's a quick one that you can do if you can afford to do that once a month. That's another one. Uh, Trying to think. Did a lot of the sleeping shit, a lot of nutrition shit. I mean, prioritizing protein would be a big one. The vegetables would be a big one. Um, damn, I only got three. I'm the one who fucking set this up, and I only picked. Uh, I would probably like read daily. Read daily would be a big one because like
Yeah,
improving
inform yourself.
yourself. Yeah, like just improving yourself every day is important. And um, I wouldn't say reflect because I feel like reflect. I get bored with reflecting. I think seeing how you talk to yourself and improving the inner dialogue is very important.
I like that.
I feel I'm a big I noticed it a lot. Like I negative self-talk a lot, and we talked about it last time a little bit. I'm a negative self-talk a lot, and sometimes that puts me in a weird position of me lacking a little bit of confidence in what I do. So trying to improve the inner dialogue with yourself is very vital for the success that you want to have long term. Because if you're the one that's beating yourself up, like no one's gonna fucking be in your corner to help you out of it.
For sure.
You gotta be kind to yourself. Yeah, those are mine.
And be action oriented.
Be action oriented is a good one. Yeah, fucking just do shit, bro. Do it and be happy to fail.
Yeah.
And again, fail like we talked about last time. I don't think failure has a negative connotation. I fucking love the word. I love the word. I love to fucking fail because that's the only way that you fucking learn. But learning and failure is kind of the same thing. I don't think they're cohesively different, or that's not the right cohesively is not the right word for the fucking sentence, but you know what I mean. It's the right word for the sentence now. I don't give a shit. Expose yourself, people. Expose yourself.
Expose yourself. Well, in that
Oh,
case, guys, oh shit, we forgot to do it in the beginning, but like, subscribe, notifications. We are on Apple Podcasts, we are on
sure,
Spotify, we are on Google Podcasts. So if you want to listen to this in your audio experience, you are more than welcome to now. And
sure.
thank you guys always for checking in. Thank you guys for always supporting. By the time this episode drops, we'll have a lot more supporters on our hands. So we're excited to see where the growth is. We're constantly seeing this podcast grow a little bit more each week, and that's the name of the game. Is trying to get 1% better, constantly trying to find new ways to elevate this thing. So again, thank you for everyone listening. Like, subscribe, follow all of our socials: YouTube, Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, whichever one you favor. Make sure you keep tuning in. Stay locked into future content.
Do all the shit. All the shit. I love you. Thank you guys. If you don't do all the shit, I'll find you and expose yourself.
So on that note, see you next week.
Bye.